Hello, hello. Okay, I think I have to do the live here. Oops, oops. Sorry, bear with me for a second. Okay. Hello everyone. Okay, I'm finally live on Facebook as well as Instagram. Yeah, I'm having a lot of tech issues today. I don't know, the tech just has been a bit crazy today. So, hi Darshana, nice to see you. So, everyone here, happy World Health Day. Today is the World Health Day, and we are celebrating that. And the one thing in relation to World Health Day is, if you want to see this world a healthier place, that starts with you, and do absolutely just one thing that will make your health better, right? So rather than doing 10 different things, trying to completely change your diet, change your lifestyle, change everything about you, if you take just one step that's positive for your own health, that will make a ton of difference to your health. And when you are healthy, you can support your families, you can support your friends, you can support your loved ones, you can support your clients in a better way, right? So that's the one thing I really urge you all, that do one thing that's really healthy for you. It could be a dietary habit, it could be a lifestyle habit, it could be any good positive habit that you are going to create consistently, right? One thing every single day, and that creates a really positive shift. For those who are new here, we are doing the Wellness Wednesdays. I go live here on my Facebook page, I'll go live on Instagram, I'll go live on Blue Water Nutrition page, as well as my YouTube channel. And every week I'll talk about health topic. Today, in accordance with the World Health Day, we are going to talk about digestion, right? And digestion, because it is something that's deeply connected with your health. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Hello, Bijal. Hi, Khatija. Hi, Dr. Varalakshmi. Hello, Darshana. Hi, Asma. Thank you all for watching this live. If you are watching this live, say a quick hi. If you are watching this as a replay, you can post as a hashtag replay, and let me know what is the one habit that you follow for a rock solid digestion, right? So please let me know your habit that you have been following for a really strong, for a rock solid digestion. I would really love to know that, right? So let's get started with today's talk. So the one thing that I always say is your digestion is one of the most primary things in your life, like it is essential to our life itself. And it is also something that is extremely important for your other the health of your other bodily systems as well. So for people that don't focus on digestion, they are like, oh, I don't know if this is working for me, it's not working for me, or I don't really care about my digestion, I want to build muscle. It's not going to be possible, right? If you are someone who's looking to achieve hormonal balance, and if your digestion is in a toss, that is not going to be possible either. So for your neurological health, for your mental health, for your any kind of physical health, for the health of other systems in the body, your digestion is kind of the core. And I'll explain you a little bit of what happens and how it works to get started. So, anytime you are eating, you are getting this external nourishment from outside, right? Because we are humans, we cannot make our own food in our body like plants. So, what ends up happening is we have to source our food externally, and the food has to be integrated into our own body components, right? So, when you eat a chicken, for example, it's not going to stay a chicken in your body, it's going to be incorporated into your muscles. Some of the amino acids are going to make neurotransmitters, some will participate in making hormones, right? So when you eat something, the process starts in your mouth itself. When you're chewing your food, the saliva mixes with it. There are a lot of enzymes in the saliva, right? So the digestion starts in the mouth, then it's going to be ingested, and then it goes into your stomach, right, where it is acted by some acid, more enzymes, then goes to the small intestine, and from there, it kind of enters your digestive tract. Like your entire digestive tract starts from mouth, but the other enzymes are going to be secreted, bile, which is stored in the liver, is secreted to break down any of the fat globules to make it more digestible, absorbable. So carbohydrates, proteins, fats, everything is going to be digested, and then any of the water that you have drunk, that is reabsorbed as well. And then also with digestion, your liver always takes a lot of the amino acids, carbs, fats, and it metabolizes it. It also packages different things, and it also detoxifies your body, right? So this is kind of a little bit interlinked. Your digestion does not work very separately, right? So your entire git is also innervated by different nerves, and your brain is constantly sending signals to your stomach to secrete the enzymes, whether you're hungry or not, whether you're full. So all these hormones which are related with feeling satisfied, feeling full or feeling hungry, are also going to be connected with your digestion. What you eat also will determine how much insulin you're secreting. That's also your blood sugar balancing hormone, right? So while we talk about digestion, it is not like a sole experience. There are other mechanisms participating as well. Again, now the thing to consider is when you eat a certain food, how much of that you break down, right? How much of that you're absorbing and how much of that you're excreting is going to make a huge difference as well. So when you eat a food, it has to be broken down into tiny particles. Anything undigested sometimes can trigger allergies or food sensitivities, right? It creates something called ama or digestive toxins, and it also circulates in the body, and that can also cause your joint pain, skin conditions like eczema, sometimes psoriasis. That can also contribute to hormonal imbalances. It makes you feel sluggish. It's going to create stressors on your body. So this is kind of the mechanism, right? And that is why your digestive health is extremely important for the health of your other bodily systems as well. So that is something to pay attention to. That is something to always consider, right? So the first thing is, digestion is a very important process. You cannot ignore your digestion. If you have been ignoring your bloating or gasiness or feeling tired after eating, that is a wrong thing to do. You have to get your digestion on track if you want to be healthy. If you realize you're losing muscle mass, and this is something I see in my practice. I see people eating protein all the time, and I think protein is highly overrated, but underutilized. So if you are eating protein but you're losing a lot of muscle mass, that again is going to be a huge problem, that your digestion is not functioning well. Pauline here says that hello from New Jersey. She's suffering with dysmobility of stomach. She can only eat mashed potatoes, warm soy milk. Yeah, so dysmobility again is going to be a combination of your neurological system and imbalance in the neurological system as well, right? So when your vata dosh gets imbalanced, that is going to create issues also with digestion, right? And that is what we're going to talk about a little bit. So first I wanted to talk about the basics of digestion, which I have described. Now let's talk about the Ayurvedic view on digestion. So Ayurvedic view on digestion is, we talk about Agni as one of the most important facets of our health, right? And this Agni is slightly different from the Pitta, right? We're talking about Jataragni. So Pitta is again a dosha. They have an inter kind of connected relationship, but at the same time they're slightly different from each other. Now whenever we talk about Agni, this fire, it can be an element or even the digestive metabolic fire, is extremely important because there are different types of digestion taking place according to Ayurveda. So the main Jataragni is going to digest all the food that you're eating. Then the bhutagnis, or the elemental fires as we call it, are going to work to digest all of the five elements. They're typically situated in the liver, and then that process is going to open up all the five elements, and they're going to go towards the different tissues, right? So when we talk about Ayurvedic dhatus or rasa rakta mausa meda asti majja, or your plasma, your blood, your muscle, your fat, bones, bone marrow, reproductive tissue, so these are all the different tissue according to Ayurveda. And what you eat is going to create your entire body. How you're digesting, how you're absorbing, that's going to create your entire body. And this is the very importance of your digestion, right? And metabolism. Also remember that, I see a lot of clients of infertility. If you're trying to conceive, you have been unsuccessful, conceiving, it's always a time to look at the digestion, and not just like the digestion but also the metabolism of different tissues, right? Because your sperm cells, your ovum, all those are cells of your body, and the nourishment will also depend on how you are processing and digesting things, right? Nowadays, the other thing I want to pay attention to is your emotions, right? With COVID, what's happening is creating that overwhelms, it's creating a lot of anxiety, it's creating a lot of panic, because somehow mentally you're not able to process those thoughts, right? You're not able to digest, certain things happening mentally, and you either have a crazy reaction to it, or you have a lot of resistance to it, right? Or the thoughts are just stuck in your mind, right? So your healthy digestion, your gut, is extremely important. We have also seen or talked before about the gut brain, and how, your neurological system in the gut is almost independent and it can function, which is also extremely important. The other concept that we talk about is the microbiome, your bacteria in the gut. You have the good and the bad bacteria. The good ones keep the bad ones on check, right? And these bacteria in your gut, if you have good bacteria, they're also going to influence your thoughts, behaviors in a positive way. If your gut is not functioning well, right? If you have any issues with your gut brain, or if you have any issues with your bacteria in your gut, again, you are going to be more anxious, you're going to be more depressed, you're going to just feel blah, you're not going to have that enthusiasm for day to day activities, right? So this is a lot I'm going to cover today. So just, giving you some food for thought. So just think about it. And if you have more questions, feel free to get in touch with me. Just message me and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you have. But really take time to focus on your digestion, right? So any questions so far? Hello, Vaibhav. Hi, Heather. Hi, hey, Mugdha. Nice to see you. It's been a long time. So let's talk about, the effect of three doshas on the digestive processes. Now, the three Ayurvedic doshas, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, they are all extremely necessary for the process of digestion. If you look at saliva, it can be slightly understood as bodhak kapha, which also helps with digestion, right? Your Agni, your digestive enzymes can be understood as Pitta, and the impulses which carry, your signaling from the brain to secrete enzymes, or even when you are eating and the food is carried, it's all carried. Any movement happens through vata. So any movements in the git, whether it's the signaling or it's the actual passage of the food, is going to happen through vata. So I'm just going to give like this brief explanation. I'm not going to delve too much. And the one thing to understand is, if there is any issues with your dosha imbalance, if your vata, pitta, or kapha go out of balance, your digestion is going to go out of a toss, go out for toss as well. An example is, if you have vata aggravation and you're not secreting enough saliva, right? Your enzymes start drying up. And this is something that's common when we age. When we age, the digestion starts slowing down, the secretions are not as good, because it's the vata dominant stage of life, right? For somebody who's secreting too much stomach acid, right, that's going to create ulcers, that's going to create a lot of pain and inflammation in the gut. So that is due to excess of this aggravated pitta. And excess of kapha is again going to cause a lot of sluggishness of digestion, also could relate to constipation, right? Thanks, Joanne, for watching this. Hello, Diksha. So Anuradha will talk about the probiotics as well. So we'll get there in some time. But Ayurvedic view on probiotics is one of the things is, that is why we talk about having takra at each meal, right? Takra is buttermilk that's made freshly. You can take 1/4 cup of you freshly made yogurt, you can add, a cup of water to it, you can add some spices, blend it, and that becomes takra. That's also a good probiotic, so that is why you're having it with each meal. In my practice, what I've seen is probiotics are beneficial. I have seen that certain, but you have to get a good quality probiotic which is also live and which is suitable to you, right? So not all probiotics work for everyone. Again, it has to be customized for people as well. So now let's talk about the five main digestive rules to incorporate for a healthy digestion. And then I'm also going to talk about five things to absolutely avoid, right? So my first rule is something that nobody ever does. It is very unfortunate that nobody ever does it. But the first thing you really have to do when you are eating for a healthy digestion is please sit and eat and take time to eat, right? So please allot a specific time for your meals where you're sitting and eating. You don't want to grab a granola bar and eat it in your car. You don't want to grab a wrap and eat it on the run, or you don't want to grab popcorn while you're watching TV and eat it, right? So there has to be a designated area, there has to be a designated time in your schedule where you're just sitting and eating, right? Because it is an act of nourishing you. It is not just a general thing you're doing. Your food is going to make your body, your food is also going to make your mind, and it deserves respect, and you deserve some respect and time. So the number one thing for a rock solid digestion is never eat on the go. Always sit and eat. If you sit in a designated area, if you have like, don't eat in your workspace, don't eat on the kitchen counter, utilize your dining room. I know we all have dining tables at home. Pretty much everyone now. Unfortunately, some people's dining tables have become their workspaces now, but even a corner of that space, allotted for eating, where you shut down your laptop, you're putting your phone on silent, and all you're doing is focusing on the food, right? What this does is, this is going to signal your brain, or this is your brain is finally going to understand that, okay, I'm eating. It's going to signal your mouth to secrete saliva, it's going to signal your gut to your digestive tract to secrete those enzymes which otherwise don't happen, right? So you have to be focused on the act of eating, and that's the number one thing to do. So if you sit and eat and allot a designated time, please post it in the comments here, and I would love to know that. No matter what happens when I'm in my clinic, between 12 to 12:30, I'm always closed for my lunch, right? I'll always get my lunch, and I'll make sure I have that half an hour where I will eat no matter what, so I can regulate my digestion. So this is extremely important for myself, and this is also something that's very important for you to follow, right? The second thing that I would really like to say is, there is a lot of misconception and myths about how many times should be you be eating and grazing throughout the day. So if you want to have a rock solid digestion, you can have 2 to 3 meals a day and avoid snacking otherwise, unless it's specifically told to you that you need to snack, right? So if you have those main meals with a 3 to 4 hour interval in between meals, you're going to digest the previous meal before you've had the next one, right? So if you're having your breakfast at 8 o'clock in the morning, you can have your lunch at 12, and then you can have your dinner at about 4 or 5 or 6. If you're having your early dinner, I know some people do that as well. So that gives you enough time in between meals, so you're not creating ama or digestive toxins, and you're not eating when there is still undigested food sitting in your gut, which is going to lead to that gut rot, right? So avoid that. That's the second thing to do. The third thing I really like to tell people is eat what you like. That does not mean all the junk food, but I'm generally saying that try not to force yourself to eat something which you absolutely hate, right? And this is a really good habit for a rock solid digestion. An example is, if you absolutely don't like meat, and because everybody else eats meat, or somebody said that you should eat meat for protein, and you, every time you eat it, you just don't feel like eating it, or you don't feel happy about it, it's time to give it up, right? The second thing is, Again, beans. So if you prefer meat over beans, and if you can digest meat safely, but beans make you gassy or bloated or overwhelmed, but you're on this khichdi diet because somebody put you on it, it is a bad idea, right? So if you don't like the food, again, you're not going to secrete enzymes. You're not going to get excited about the food. You're not going to get these enzymes, and you will end up not digesting the food. So the third thing is always, eat what you like does not mean junk. That's a disclaimer, right? Now, another thing that I have often seen is that, oh, I should eat for my dosha type, and there's a lot of confusion about it. So your prakriti is your dominant dosha. The dosha type typically means prakriti, or any dosha that's like really dominant in your body. But eating for your prakriti is not always the case, because I have seen a lot of clients who come to me, they are in a state of imbalance already. So they are not in the state of prakriti. The prakriti state has gone long back, and they are in some specific vikruti right now, right? So if you are eating for balancing your vata, right, when your kapha is deranged, it is not a good idea, right? So one of the main things about getting a rock solid digestion is first analyze your digestion. First, get your dosha status analyzed, not just the normal, but also what's out of balance. And then you can create a plan for yourself. Now, this is extremely easy for Ayurvedic practitioners or Ayurvedic Vaidyas to do it for themselves. But when it comes to somebody who's a newbie with Ayurveda, please seek consultation from an experienced Ayurvedic doctor or a practitioner who can guide you, right? But if you're looking at all those self help books, and if you're trying to assess if I should be eating for my prakriti, first make sure you're in that prakriti and you don't have a lot of abnormal stuff going on in your body, or vikruti, or imbalances is the word, right? So be mindful of that. The fourth thing is never lie down after eating. So this is the one thing I always tell is, when you have had a meal, you can walk in your home at a comfortable pace for about 100 steps, and that will ensure that your digestion happens very easily. You're not supposed to run after eating. You're not supposed to lift heavy weights after eating or exercise too much to burn the food that you've eaten. So, this is also something people do, which is a wrong thing to do. But if you walk at a comfortable pace of 100 steps within your house, you will start digesting the food that you've eaten. It's not going to sit very heavy. You're not going to be very uncomfortable, right? So you're just activating this digestion a little bit by walking at a comfortable pace. In Marathi, this is called Shatapavli, and we've seen a lot of seniors do it. So um, uh, people who are from Mumbai, like, if I don't know, Darshana, if you remember, like, a lot of our grandparents would do that. The moment they would have a big meal, they would just start walking in the house, maybe take 100 steps. And that is one thing that also ensures a rock solid digestion, right? So we've talked about 5 digestive rules to incorporate for a rock solid digestion. Now let's talk about what to avoid for a rock solid digestion, right? So, one of the things to really understand and avoid is processed foods, right? So, the number one thing to do to avoid is anything that does not look natural, anything that's processed, anything that does not look like it was made in nature. And this is also true for a lot of faux meats, right? So if you are going vegan, and if you're really craving something, or you want some protein, there are enough beans and lentils to go for it. But if you're having a lot of processed faux meats, a lot of burgers or something where you can't even pronounce the ingredients, you have absolutely no idea where it is coming from, it is going to tax your liver, right? If your liver is overloaded, your digestion is going to be really weakened. Your detoxification channels are going to be really clogged. So I would avoid any processed foods. Try to eat food as close as it is to nature, and eating fresh fruits, eating fresh vegetables, eating what's seasonal is extremely important if you really want to heal your gut, right? The second thing to give up is excess sugar and sugary foods. So people give up sugar and they move to a lot of maple syrup, or lots of honey, or lots of sweeteners that could be artificial, like aspartame, Splenda, right? Or even natural sweeteners like monk fruit extract or stevia. You can have it in moderation, but do not overuse or abuse it, right? If you're having too much sugar or too much foods that contain sugar, even milk has a lot of natural sugars known as lactose, right? So whether it's lactose or whether it's other foods that are containing a lot of sugar, they are going to impact your digestion because they are going to create what's known as dysbiosis. Dysbiosis is a word that means that there are more bad bacteria in your gut than good bacteria, right? So if you have too many bad bacteria in your gut, they are going to interfere with the signaling, to your brain. They are going to give you that anxiety. They're going to make you overwhelmed, make you nervous, make you just feel off, depress you. And that are some of the cases to do with bad bacteria. If you have excess yeast or candida overgrowth in the gut because of dysbiosis, you're going to crave more sugars, you're going to get tired easily, you're going to feel again overwhelmed, you might get some skin reactions because of the toxins created by this candida, right? So in this condition, again, probiotics are a really good option to incorporate in your diet. I have often seen people react to milk or dairy, and that is why a probiotic capsule is a better option than kefir or than yogurt, which is sold for its probiotic value. Again, buttermilk, which is homemade, known as takra, is very different from kefir or yogurt. So that is the better option. That takes me to the question by Idita Batista. I hope I'm saying your name right, because I know a lot of people mess up my name, right? So she's asking me whether probiotics can be taken with moderate ama and mandagni, right? So you can, but at the same time, when you're on this probiotic regimen, make sure you're on a regimen to strengthen the agni, right? When your agni is strong enough, your body starts digesting this excess ama, and that is when you're going to reap more benefits of a probiotic. If your body is full of toxins and you're just taking the probiotic capsule, it is not going to work for you, right? So always focus on digestion. And one of the best digestive aids is ginger, right? So we don't have a lot of time today to talk about different herbs and all, but ginger is like the universal tonic. Ginger is one of the best digestive anti-inflammatories that you can find. It is going to push your body to secrete enzymes, and it is also going to digest all this ama or toxicity. And you can just take some ginger, chop it up, make a tea out of it, and that's going to help with your digestion. Now the third thing to avoid to heal your gut is snacking or grazing throughout the day. As I mentioned, in the previous section, that if you are constantly eating, if you're eating a little bit here, if you're eating a little bit there, or if you're eating really late at night, that is going to completely mess up your digestion. So please avoid grazing, right? 6 meals a day, 8 meals a day, I've heard all kinds of things when it comes to diets by now. 6 meals a day are only designed for professional athletes, right? Everybody else who is doing moderate to no exercise should not be eating 6 meals a day. And if you are following some crazy dietary plan just to lose weight because you think that you're going to have small portions throughout the day, you also have to realize that you need to digest the food, right? Often, for a person who has a weak digestion, which is most people I see in my practice, eating constantly throughout the day is not going to work for them. So again, avoid grazing throughout the day. Sit and eat. You just don't need to eat one thing here and the other thing there. So eating is an act. You have to sit and really eat very consciously, right? So that was the third thing, snacking. The fourth thing I mentioned in snacking as well, that eating after it's dark, right? So one of the interesting topics I would, or points I would really like to make here, is how Ayurveda is slightly different than the other streams of holistic health. Have breakfast like a king, lunch like a queen, and dinner like a pauper is a really bad idea, right? If you are having a heavy breakfast every single morning, if you wake up at 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock, you're having like 2 or 3 eggs and you're having a lot of bread with it or bacon and all, it's just taxing your system, right? The Ayurvedic way is to have a decent sized lunch. So the lunch should be your biggest meal. You should have an easy to digest breakfast and a really light dinner as well. So lunch is always going to be your main meal. Breakfast and dinner have to be both light and easily digested. One simple logic about this is you haven't woken up, your digestive system has not woken up. And as soon as you wake up, before even moving your body, if you start eating too much, right, just because you want to have breakfast like a king, you're just going to be sluggish all day. So I would definitely avoid this. Make lunch your biggest meal. When the sun is above your head is the time your Agni or digestive fire is the strongest, right? And that is the time you can really digest food. If you are having a late dinner at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, it is an absolutely bad idea, right? So that was my tip number 4 to avoid, to heal your gut, is try, make lunch your biggest meal. Don't have a really heavy dinner and try not to eat after sunset is the other point I really want to make, right? So eat when the sun is out there, your digestion is going to be strong. And the fifth point I want to do is, like, I want to tell you, is to avoid sleeping or taking a nap right after you eat. So if your gap between your meal and your sleep is less than 3 hours, chances are you're creating a lot of toxicity in your body, right? If you eat at 9 o'clock and if you go to bed at 10, the undigested food is going to sit in your body, right? It's going to sit in your digestive tract. And because you're sleeping, a lot of this food is going to be sluggish. Digestion is going to be really sluggish. It just sits there for a long time, which converts to ama or digestive toxins, and it's going to create issues with you. So if you are someone who's used to eating late at night, or that's because of your work schedule, make sure you keep at least a 2 to 3 hour gap between your sleep and your meals. You can drink hot water or warm water to help with the digestion, or walk the 100 steps that I was talking about, right? So you could do any of these strategies. So these were my 5 things to do and 5 things to avoid for a rock solid digestion. I see a lot of people tune in and check out this video. So let me know which is your number 1 tip for digestion that you are going to implement from this video. Is there something that you're going to implement? It's the World Health Day today. So I urge you to take this opportunity to become healthy, or the healthiest you have ever been. So what is the one thing you learned in today's video that you are going to implement for your rock solid digestion? I would really love to know that. I'm also going to host a seasonal detox, right? So I am going to host a seasonal detox starting on 26th. It's going to be a 7-day detox. I'm just working on it. And what we are going to do is we're going to strengthen our digestion. We're going to get rid of a lot of digestive toxins in the 7 days that we are together. And I will be giving you all the meal plan with the recipes. So I'm going to share a lot of information with you. If you are interested, you can also PM me and just send me the word detox, and I will send you more information about it. I'm still working on the pages. Everything should be up by tomorrow. So Mohan, thanks for watching. So Mohan says that eat before sunset. That's fantastic. So Susan also says not eating after sunset. Perfect. That is the one thing to always follow. 7 o'clock in the evening, make that like a mark, that not eating after that. If you are in Canada in the winters, sometimes you have to eat really early. Edita is saying the one thing she learned is not to take probiotics when Ama and Manda Agni. Yeah, see, even if you take probiotics, unless you clear the Ama and unless you strengthen your digestion, you will not get the optimal benefit of it. Sometimes people take probiotics and they don't see any change, and they take it for a few years just because somebody told them to do, right? So anytime you try a new supplement, anytime you try a new herb, first thing, it has to be recommended by a professional, and you have to give it time and really see if it's beneficial to you, right? So Mugdha is saying that I will try my best to switch off TV and mobile when eating. That is the way to do it. You have to switch off the TV, you have to switch off the mobile phones, and I'm going to check in with you and keep you accountable. Yeah, and set times in your calendar. Set half an hour times in your calendar solely where you're going to sit down and eat, right? Because once you strengthen your digestion, you're strengthening your entire body. You will bring about hormonal balance, you will bring about, calm emotions, your mental health will improve, you will be less overwhelmed, you'll be less anxious, right? You will also start losing a lot of pounds if you eat right, according to Ayurveda. Pranita is saying that I will have lunch as a main meal instead of having a heavy breakfast. That's perfect. That is really the way to do, having a good lunch as the main meal instead of having a heavy breakfast or a really heavy dinner. So thank you all for watching this. I will be sharing more about my upcoming spring cleanse or spring detox soon. If you're interested, just ping me and I'll share more information with you as well. And if you like this video, please share it with your friends or tag your friends here. If you know that friend that's always complaining about digestive issues like bloating or gasiness, or has frequent stomach upsets, please tag them in this video, or you can also share this video privately with them if you don't want to embarrass them, but share this video because you want to share the information so that they can benefit as well. Thank you once again for watching this. I will be back next Wednesday with another topic on improving your health. And this week we are discussing a lot about digestion as well as digestive health. Next week's video is going to be about IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. So we are going to discuss everything that you need to know about IBS or irritable bowel syndrome or irritable bowel disorder. So that's the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye for now. Have a fantastic day, everyone. Bye bye. And happy World Health Day again. Bye for now.